So happiness in modern life has become like a catch-all word. To many different people, it means many different things. For a hungry person, having a meal is happiness. To a parent, a smile on the face of their child means happiness. For someone who's climbing a mountain, standing on top of the summit seems happiness. So happiness is not one thing. It is related, or it's a description for a state of well-being, of self-expression, of joy that arises when we are in presence of wholesomeness of life. Now there is an ascending hierarchy of happiness, and that is directly related to the kind of life that interests us. At the first basic level is what we call, the first level of happiness is what we call that comes from pleasant life. This is the life where we are focused on fulfilling our needs and wants, what we would like to have in life. A nice car, a nice house, a good relationship, a certain type of body. It has a lot to do with the things we possess. The challenge is the source of this kind of joy or happiness is hedonistic pleasures. That means it lasts a very small period of time. The moment we have what we want, the next moment after that, we are less happier than it. So it's almost like waiting and desiring a car makes us more happy than actually having it. The value of the car goes down right in the moment we have sat inside this. So this is pleasant life. Pleasant life is really based on short-term experiences of happiness. Now, once our desires are fulfilled, or we realize the temporary nature of happiness that comes from it, we move on to seeking in life what we call a good life. Good life means, regardless of what we have, we judge our life based on how much engaged we are in life, how much engaged we are with people and communities in our life. So this type of happiness comes from being in a loving relationship, having a family, being part of a community, being part of a tribe where you're exploring something new. So this is good life. Good life means it's not about what you have and what you want. It's about how you're sharing experiences with people around you. This happiness lasts a little bit longer. There's a little bit of true joy in it, and it becomes a part of who you are. You don't walk around saying, I am a car owner or I'm a house owner. But you do walk with a spring in your step and say, hey, I'm a part of this mountaineering club where we celebrate our new victories together. Or I'm a part of a band that plays together. Or I have a loving family. I'm a father, I'm a mother, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, etc., etc. That's really called good life. That allows us to experience that part of us that we discover when we are in communication and engagement with the other. Now, once we have good life, we begin to ask ourselves the question, is this all that life has to offer? We begin to have these questions of, who am I really? What is the purpose of my life? We begin to have that existential questions. That is the beginning of the next level of happiness that comes from having a meaningful life. Meaningful life means you have a sense of meaning in what you do. I matter. What my work do matters. I'm making world a better place. It usually comes from making a unique contribution as a singer, as a doctor, as an actor, as someone who brings joy to other people's life. That is called meaningful life. This type of happiness lives not only in us, but it lives in the communities around us because we envelop others also into this kind of happiness. This is what we call that arises from a meaningful life. But this meaning is still personal because it is about what I want to do. I want to be the best doctor. I want to be the best actor. I want to be the best sports person. So while we are sharing the joy and happiness with other people, but still about us. So the next level of happiness comes from a life that is purposeful life. That means you decide a purpose that you want to devote your life to, that you want to explore, that you want to build, that is something larger than yourself. It's not about what you like and what you want, what you don't like, but it's about what's good for the larger whole. This kind of happiness comes from committing yourself to causes that extend in impact, like contributing to the environment, developing an educational platform for generations of the future, inventing a new type of medicine, solving a world problem, making your community safer. Basically choosing a purpose which is not just personal, but it is about the greater good of humanity and society. So purposeful life is full of a certain kind of sense of inner peace, inner sense of purpose, where you realize the world is a better place based on what you have chosen to dedicate your life to. Sometimes, even when it's inconvenient and painful, you still work with a sense of purpose every day. That is a purposeful life. What comes after purpose? Is fulfilled life. A fulfilled life is when you have chosen such a big purpose that is beyond goals, that is beyond accomplishments. You have chosen a purpose that is so big that you're not even attached to fulfilling it in your lifetime. It does not have that boundary. So, for example, you will find scientists that work for decades in a problem that they are not able to complete in their life. I say it's like planting seeds which will become trees and will have fruits years after you are gone. That sense of fulfillment that I may not see the fruits of my labor, but one day what I am planting will flower and the generations to come will benefit from it. The word here is not impact, the word here is legacy. A fulfilled life comes from leaving a legacy that not only goes beyond you, but will live after you. People who have that sense of working on their legacy are institutions. Many times I can ask people about the great institutions of the world that everybody knows have transformed humanity. Sometimes when you look, you may not know who founded them, or great universities, great libraries, or even great discoveries. But that are the legacies of the people who completely devoted their life to that. Finally, beyond fulfilled life, there is another deeper sense and more profound sense of happiness that comes from liberated life. Liberated life is when your sense of freedom realizes that there is no separation between you and the universe. You begin to live with the realization, I am impermanent. Irrespective of however much I may do, is insignificant in terms of the eons and eons of time of history of humanity or history of the planet. I am a part of the universe. The body and the consciousness I have was born from elements of the universe and it will go back to the elements of the universe. So you no longer attach a super significance to yourself and you live your life in a way that you can have the greatest sense of harmony, not just within yourself, not just with your society, but the planet at large. That sense of freedom to be, when you have nowhere to go, nothing to do, just simply experience that sense of boundarylessness and oneness with the universe is what's called liberated life. Now that sounds very aspirational, right? So let me bring it back. At the first level of happiness, the shortest lived happiness is buying a bag, buying a car, eating a bowl of ice cream. The moment the bag is old, the car is old, then ice cream is finished, the happiness is gone. Next is about good life. Having engagement in the community, engagement with the family, nurturing and growing together with people around you. This lasts a little bit longer, but it is still short-lived because the happiness increases. There's only so much happier it makes you to be engaged with family. Beyond that, it becomes about, is that all there is to life? Then comes meaningful life, finding meaningful work, making a difference. And that still is very personal. Then comes the level of purposeful life, which is about essentially finding a purpose that's larger than you. You can include the community in it. So it's something that you devote yourself to accomplishing, but that will impact the world at large. This kind of happiness lives with you every moment of your life because you know you are bringing joy and peace to many people around you. And after that comes fulfillment, which is having a sense of a purpose. You're not attached to completing, but just going on the journey of moving. Finally, the liberated life. So this liberated life is about having the sense of freedom, of oneness with the macrocosm. So how long your happiness lasts, how profound and deep your happiness is function of which level are you operating from. You want short-term pleasure? Aim for a pleasant life. You want a sense of fun and joy in your life? Aim for a good life. You want to have a sense of self-worth? Aim for meaningful life. You want to feel like you made a difference to the planet and you want to have longevity to that? Aim for purposeful life. You want to have a sense of a life well lived, not measured by your accomplishments, but what did you consume in trying? That's fulfilled life. And you want true peace, tranquility, serenity, oneness, and freedom from the afflictions of modern life, aim for liberated life, which is found in experiencing yourself as one with the cosmos. So these are the 6 ascending levels of happiness that you can nurture for yourself intentionally.